Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the struggle to maintain your spiritual awakening. If you've had one, or you think you've had one, you know what I mean. Watch this video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, please click the subscribe button, the bell to receive notifications when I release new videos. And if you've been with me for a while, thank you so much for your support and welcome back. Today I want to talk about the spiritual awakening process. One of the main struggles so often I see with clients and myself. Back in 1995, I had my spiritual awakening. I was 15 years old. And it was the most incredible, obviously life-altering experience of my life, and then very shortly after, it became the biggest challenge. And so many people, spiritual teachers, coaches, don't talk about this. Many of them maybe haven't had this, but the ones who have, I think we need to talk about it more. Because when we figure out, I'm gonna go through the timeline, right? So when we're children and we're in a society that we're conditioned and we're programmed and we've decided certain things about us aren't okay, need to be different to fit in, to belong, for survival, right? We get this. This is human nature, unfortunately, in the, material world. But we lose parts of our divinity a little bit. We put a lot of our spiritual power in the shadow. We put a lot of our little inner gifts in if you're highly sensitive, a lot of that goes in the shadow because we're too sensitive, all that, right? It goes in the shadow. So then we start functioning with this semi-false self that gets us along in the world and helps us survive. And it's our coping mechanism to be able to deal with our surroundings and to feel safe, to feel externally safe. Meanwhile, realizing sooner and sooner, little by little, that we're becoming internally less safe. But as long as we're externally safe, because we're looking externally for our survival, right? Mom, dad, roof over our head, food in our bellies, we'll be okay. Then there comes a time with some of us, highly sensitive people do this, I hear more often than not, because you are so close to that veil. You do kind of, push through to the other side. You've had to become a little hypervigilant in your surroundings, so you notice things and feel things a little bit more in a different way. A lot of these people, self included, will have an awakening in your teens or early 20s. Mostly, some of us, teens. What that looks like is it's a remembrance and a feeling, an experience of bliss. It feels like I know who I am. I know my true self. I'm back with my authenticity. Nothing was ever wrong with me. Nothing was ever bad. I totally understand everything. It's a holistic view that drops in. And if you didn't have all of this, it's okay. If you had a piece, you know what I mean. So, hi, Saint. You want to say hello? This is my little saint. So we get that glimpse and we think, oh my gosh, I know God. I know the universe. I know the truth of who I am. It's an amazing experience. I just talked to my incredible young client from Saudi Arabia this week, and she is one of those kids who got it and got it pretty young and didn't have the guidance around her or the people around her that had it, so she found me. And a lot of people do that on YouTube. They're like, oh my gosh, this chick gets it. Why don't my parents get it? Because so few people experience it and then they don't know how to articulate it. It's a very hard thing to articulate. But a lot of people don't experience it. So if you're one of these people that you experience, my life makes sense. This was me at 15. I'm like, my life makes sense. Society had it wrong. I understand what's really going on. I understand what I'm here to do. I knew I wanted to be a spiritual psychologist, and at the time I was super young, just didn't know existed. It was all just laid out there for me. I saw myself in everyone. I tell you the story in my other video about my spiritual awakening. But I saw that there was no separation, and that is the healing of all healings, is realizing we're all one. And I saw no separation. I literally saw everyone in my youth group camp, 2,000 students. I saw every one of them had my face. And I was like, oh my God, they're all me. I'm them. There's no separation. There's no difference. There's nothing wrong with anybody. There's nothing, right? So not to go too deep into that. I can tend to do that because I love it so much. But anyway, what happens after this is the biggest challenge. Because then you're brought out of your spiritual realm and you're thrown right back into the world that actually conditioned you in the first place. And this, we don't give ourselves enough credit for this, you guys. We're thrown back into a societal norm, a societal ideal that is never the authentic real. And so we start to chip away at our authentic self again. We start to see opinions. We start to feel old triggers like rejection, like I'm not fitting in. I thought if I was my authentic self, my authentic self was good enough, everything would be perfect. But no, because the thing that we're really being asked to see here is that universal law, universe God, is not controlling society. Society is an animal on its own. It has to do with control. It has to do with ideals. It has to do with what should the right body type be. None of that is God. So then we found our God self, our self according to God, which is perfection of the process, perfect for our own purpose. Then we're thrown back into society. We're like, whoa, how do I survive this place? Keeping what I know here and met here and understood here, this divine amazingness. And then I'm thrown over here and I'm getting treated poorly again, or insecurely again, or there's that fear of survival again, that I won't survive my tribe. What to do? Now here's the issue, is it is a battle. I remember battling that for, I can't even tell you how many years, but at least you're aware of the truth of you. So many people never even discover that. So that's one thing. Now, the unfortunate news that happens with my little client the other day, she was telling me about this, a lot of people tell me this. What happens is there's still a part of you that's convinced this societal thing is in power. This societal ideal of you is the truth of you, because fear attaches to fearful thoughts, right? We don't know how to fight it. And then we blame ourselves because we don't know how to believe in ourselves and hone in on that truth of who we know that we are, because we're not quite sure and we don't have anyone around us telling us that we're sure. There's no mirror to our spiritual truth. So that's when I started in my teens to just read every spiritual book on the planet. I'm like, I know that I discovered something in here that's real and right, and you guys aren't getting it. I don't understand, right? But we blame ourselves and hate ourselves and hurt ourselves and harm ourselves critically because we're like, what's wrong with me that I can't just believe in me? What's wrong with me that I can't keep me? Hold on to that beautiful experience of that identity that I so deeply knew to be true. So here's my suggestion. Stop hurting yourself. Stop being mad at yourself. It's very hard to do. Your conditioning for the majority of your life was the opposite. Stop thinking that you need to be God. Just pray to God. And so what I did is I started a daily spiritual practice. I would seek, I would find. The more that you can create habitual patterns to nurture that new true identity, even if you don't fully feel it strong enough, you've lost it. It's okay. It's always there. You just need to keep at it. Just like for 18 years or however old you are, you had conditioning of your false self. You need to feed the true self. And it's going to be really hard because you're in a society that honors false selves, okay? We're getting better, but we're not great. You need to know that your inner guidance, your inner authority is waiting for you to claim it, even if everyone else thinks you're crazy. If you can stand in a place of knowing I'm lovable, knowing I'm acceptable, knowing I feel authentic and full in any situation, those are the things that are right for you. When you feel challenged, those are the lies that you're starting to believe in. And when you believe in those lies, it hurts. It feels negative. Truth does not hurt. We think it hurts because we're afraid that negative shit might be the truth. It never is. So this is what I want to tell you. There's so much more on this, right? These are just short videos, but just get to the point. But what I want to say to you is you may have a spiritual awakening and you may think you're losing it. It's not your fault and it will come back. I've never left mine. I've never lost mine since I got it. But there's been times in my life where I'm like, where is it? Because I'm not living in alignment with my truth. I'm living in alignment with an identity of society or a truth that other people have told me. When you start to really live in your truth, it means I'm authentic, I'm unapologetic, I'll say whatever I want to say and feel regardless of others because that's the truth of me. I allow others to do the same. People feel free in your presence because you're free in you. The problem is, as you're young, you want to fit into things. And what I want to encourage you to understand is I fit into every group in school. Why? Because I was who I was and I didn't need to find a place to identify. I wanted to be myself. It's hard sometimes because you're like, who's my clique? Who's my tribe? But as we know now in my 40s, I've created my own tribe. It's called the Truth Room Tribe, right? You can create your own tribe by being true to yourself. You don't have to fit in somewhere. You have to be you and welcome others in. Welcome them into the wholeness of who you are. You don't have to fit in or change yourself up. Just fucking be real. Right? So this is what I want to encourage you guys to do. If you found your spiritual awakening, just be real. Love yourself. Be unapologetic about yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be real about how you feel so you can continue to heal in the authentic thread. that you've already discovered. So I hope this video finds you well. If you know anyone who's going through a spiritual awakening, please send them this video. Please check the links below. We've got lots of waitlists happening right now for new courses happening around Christmas. Very excited. Coaching and all the other things are below. So please give this video a thumbs up and a comment if you have something to say. I'd love to hear from you as usual. And have an amazing week.